Well, hello, and welcome back to Passing Time Games. In our last trial, or last episode, we went through the investigative segment of day 2, I believe, where we found out that Officer Goodman somehow died in the evidence locker room at the police station, as well as in the prosecutor's parking garage. Still a lot of unanswered questions here, especially about how did the body get murdered at 2 different places. There was a lot of blood in the evidence locker. So let's continue on where we left off. Oh, this is day 3 trial? Oh. Okay. I thought we only had 3 days. February 24th, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. So, what do you think, Mr. Wright? I think the prosecution is as confused as we are at this point. After all, the victim was murdered in 2 different places at the same time. Oh, that's a different voice. And a different suspect was arrested at each of the crime scenes. Lana! Good morning, Mr. Wright. I apologize for yesterday. I was indisposed. I hope they didn't hold you too long for questioning. We just finished, actually. I'm used to all-nighters, though. So, how'd it go? As Mr. Wright suspects, the police are clueless. I figured as much, so I stuck with a plea. So I struck a plea bargain. A plea bargain? What do you mean by that? We agreed that if I told them the truth behind this simultaneous murder, Jake Marshall. What kind of trace evidence? Blood-stained fingertips, or fingerprints, to be exact. That's the trump card I have up my sleeve today. You do understand what this means, don't you? In order to defend my sister, you're going to accuse Mr. Marshall? We have to play the cards we're dealt. Isn't that right, Miss Sky? Do what you have to do, Mr. Wright. February 24th, 10 a.m. District Court, Courtroom Number 9. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Hey there, Breeze. The prosecution is... I'm afraid you'll have to clarify. It takes 30 minutes by car to reach the police department from the prosecutor's office. Yet the victim, Bruce Goodman, was slain at both places at the same time. But that's not physically possible, is it? Also, wasn't he in your trunk? How did he get to the prosecutor's office? I'm still questioning that. Did Miles just have a dude in his trunk the whole time without knowing? What's more, I hear the victim from the evidence room just disappeared. Yes, and the body eventually reappeared in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. How did we get from a muffler in the muffler to this? Poor life choices, I'd say. Wow, this is one messed up trial. One of my duties as prosecutor is to present impartial evidence. Today I will present evidence relating to the murder at the police department. In so doing, I believe the way in which we should proceed will reveal itself. Now that's what set Mr. Edgeworth apart. He sounds so on top of things, even though he doesn't know what's going on himself. And that's supposed to be an admirable trait? Very well. Let the trial resume. On the day of the crime, what exactly transpired at the police department? Mr. Edgeworth, you may call your first witness of the day to the stand. For its first witness, the prosecution calls the suspect of the murder that occurred at the police department. The suspect? You mean the so-called murderer? Wild from the get-go. Fuck. What voice did I use for him? Will the witness please state his name and occupation? Oh, well, we're just wing it. Yes, sir. I'm Officer Mike Meekins, sir. My occupation is, that would be murderer, sir. It's more of a hobby. So you're telling us you're a professional killer? Sir, it was me, sir. I'm the one who did it. I'll never kill anyone again, sir. You've got to believe me. Actually, sir, what would you call part of the the younger generation, sir? A person whose actions adults can't possibly comprehend. Is this supposed to be a Zoomer? Please, Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me, sir. Yeah, why'd you let him bring that in? Officer Meekins. Yes, sir. Give us your report of the crime. Consider that an order. Yes, sir, as you wish. After all, I am part of a generation that must be told what to do, sir. Yeah, he's a Zoomer. You can't fault him for a lack of enthusiasm. Although it's not my normal duty, I was assigned to guard the evidence room that day. I spotted a suspicious man on the security screen and rushed into the room. What is that salute? I was only doing what I was trained to do, sir. I was suddenly attacked. I fought for my life. Then I did it. After that, I passed out. So another officer smacked me away. So the victim, Detective Goodman, attacked you? Do unto others before they do unto you. That's the Meekins family motto, sir. That's a hell of a motto. I see. Then you fainted and a colleague helped you regain consciousness. Yes, sir. He knocked me upside the head, sir. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. What I need here is more info to work with. Okay, so... What am I working with here? He's basically just admitting that he murdered the guy. And then he passed out. So... I guess we're just gonna press you on stuff until we figure stuff out. Why were you in the evidence room? Mr. Beacon, you work in the General Affairs Department, do you not? Yes, sir. I am in charge of hiring new recruits, sir. I'm an influencer on TikTok. Yikes. Now there's a scary thought. Evidence transfer was taking place on the day of the crime, which meant many officers were given special tasks not ordinarily performed. I was in charge of guarding the Blue Badger, sir. The Blue Badger? Yes, sir. The lovely police mascot created by the chief of detectives, sir. I was to ensure that it wasn't broken during the transferal process. That was my sole mission for the day, sir. I see. Sounds like a very important mission. After the award ceremony finished that day, there were so many people running around that I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. Oh, so that's why you went to the evidence. And tell us, what did you see when you got there? Also, how did you get in? You aren't a detective. In order to enter the evidence room, you need an ID card, am I right? Precisely, sir. I have one right here around my neck. Still. So then, your ID number should be listed on here, right? There it is. I found it. This is the one right here. Could you please read us the number? Yes, sir. It's 498-9596. That's my number, sir. Let's see. Huh? But the number 498-9596 is shown as being used twice. Okay. Please explain, witness. It's no real mystery, sir. The first time is when I relocated the Blue Badger to the evidence room. And the second time is when I went to go get him after everything settled down. I see. So it was during that second time when... Yes, sir. That was when I spotted the man on the security screen. Okay. So you were attacked. Can you please tell us exactly what happened to you? It was a knife, sir. A knife! Detective Goodman pulled a knife on you? What happened then? Well, with me in charge of charging in on him like that, he looked as surprised as I was. You aren't exactly the kind of person someone would want to run into. Harsh but fair. That's when I reacted, sir. I sprung my arms like an octopus, struggling to detain him. That's how I got this gash on my hand. Maybe if you just kept your cool, your hand would be... When I saw the blood trickling down my arm, I panicked. I grabbed the man by his collar. Okay. So you got sent into a blood frenzy? What exactly do you mean when you say you did it? I know I don't look the type, but I'm really into kung fu films, sir. I get that with the monkey look. The man let his guard down for just an instant, so I snatched his knife from him. You took his knife? I spun him around and performed a disarming maneuver. I made sure to close my eyes like a man. Okay. I see. He must have been desperate. The next thing I knew, his white coat was drenched in a sea of my blood. And then the next thing I knew, yes, he punched me right in the face. Kung Fu doesn't match the strong right hook. Oh, about what time did you regain consciousness? No offense, sir, but how am I supposed to know that? I was unconscious. Oh, right. According to the report from the officer who woke up the witness, it was about 5:30. He hit me right in the head, too. I woke up crying in tears of pain. That's nice. I mean, it's nice that you recovered, that is. When I came around though, I made sure to finish my mission, sir. Your mission? Yes, sir, the Blue Badger, sir. I returned to the front entrance before things got out of hand. Well, we can all rest easy now. I believe we now have a fairly accurate picture of what happened. Yes, Your Honor. Only one thing remains unclear. Was the man this officer murdered really the victim? He's got a point. How did you kill him whenever you were unconscious? Um, yes, Officer Meekins. With regard to that, sir, take a look at this. It was sent to my jail cell. Chief Gant delivered it to me just this morning, sir. The chief delivered it? What is that? A videotape? Yes, sir. It's absolutely right, sir. A videotape, sir. It contains footage from the security camera in the evidence room.
Objection!
What? But I specifically asked if there was such a tape, and was told it had been mistakenly erased. That's quite a mistake. I just do what I'm told, sir. It's the only thing I'm really good at. Looks like communication with the police department is as good as ever. Well then, let's have a look. Show us the video of you murdering the victim. Oh, please stop using that word. Murder, sir. It scares me. Assumer. A video of a real murder? Just what are we getting ourselves into? Oh, it's actually a video? That's awesome. Pretty smooth animation, I guess. So 1714. Oh my god. Oh, that's great. That's freaking great. But where did the murderer go? That's also not how Meekins described it. He was saluting and approaching the man earnestly. In the video, he's coming up with the nightstick out already. What the fuck? I'll always love this thing. Well, I believe we're all thinking the same thing. How can we deal with these unsettling feelings stirred within us? Why didn't Detective Goodman finish the job? What the hell was that wiggling piece of plywood? Sir, that is the pride and joy of the entire Criminal Affairs Department, sir. That's the Blue Badger. Why am I not surprised? This isn't going smoothly. That was a great video. Yes. Well, anyway, the tape seems to prove that the witness did indeed encounter someone in the evidence room and some sort of activity. Your Honor, instead of relying on clearly incompetent footage, the witness's testimony will suffice. Is that all right with you, Officer Meekins? Yes, sir, as you wish, sir. That's free. Can I watch the video again? Oh, I can't. That's great. That's fantastic. Oh. His face can't clearly be seen in the video. There's no question that the other person was Detective Goodman, sir. I mean, he opened the locker, which required Detective Goodman's fingerprint to do. The locker he opened is unquestionably Detective Goodman's locker, sir. So it must be him. No one else could have unlocked it. What's this about a fingerprint? Each detective has been given a locker, equipped with a fingerprint-activated lock. These locks ensure that each locker can only be opened by the detective it belongs to. Intriguing. That would mean the victim at the crime scene would have to have been Detective Goodman. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. I don't know where this cross-examination will lead, but everything begins with contradictions. That's where I have to start. So the mystery man. Okay, nothing really there. I mean, but you don't know that for sure, do you? You never actually saw Detective Goodman's face. Well, I suppose you might say that. That is, if you must label people as having seen or not seen. Since his face can't be identified in the video, only you can verify. Why is everyone looking at me? If I had to label your stares as disturbing or Meekins. Just choke himself? Having been shown a questionable video at best, we are not in the best of moods. Now please be more certain when you testify. Yes, sir. You claimed the man who brandished the knife on you was Bruce Goodman. Tell us why you were so positive it was him. But in the video, the light was already on, right? It's already on. And when he opened it, the glove fell out, right? The glove that we have in our possession. Yeah, there it is. So, I mean, this doesn't hold up. However, the most important detail is not shown in this video. The man's face. Sir, if I may say something, sir. Please do. After all, you are the one being examined. I don't understand why the man's face is so important in this case, sir. I mean, it was his hand that opened the fingerprint lock. And it was his hand that tried to thrust his knife into my body, sir. My unsettled state can testify enough to this, sir. Yes, you have a point. The footage doesn't lie. That is, unless the defense can find a problem with it. Mr. Wright, let's check the court record again. Is there a problem with the security video? There is a problem. Regarding the video contained on this tape, there is one thing in particular that seems rather strange. Strange? This contradiction leads to the possibility that the man may not have been Detective Goodman. What? This video contains such a contradiction? Objection! Interesting. Your Honor, I have a proposal. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? I propose we have the defense point out to us in this alleged contradiction in the video. He would want me to point it out. Very well. Proposal accepted. Let us further inspect this piece of evidence. I will now play the security tape, mostly for my amusement. Mr. Wright, please show us this contradiction you speak of. I have to point out a problem in the video? They didn't just believe me? This is the first time I've ever had to do that. You can do it, Mr. Wright. It's set up so you can fast forward, rewind, or pause the video. Just take a good look and be sure to point out the right thing. Please don't play it too many times. I can't stand watching this video. Did this guy ever become a police officer? Now then, Mr. Wright, please enlighten us. Where is the contradiction that indicates the man was not Detective Goodman? Oh, wait, so pause is backspace? Okay. Pause. Take that! Take that. The thing that's strange about this video has got to be this. Officer Meekins. Sir! You be me, sir? As I understand, the locker apparatus works like this. When you grab the handle, a sensor reads your fingerprint. If it's a match, the light turns on and the lock is released. According to my very limited experience, that's the way I understand it, sir. If so, then something is seriously wrong with this picture. When the victim reaches for the handle to open the locker, let's rewind to a little earlier. Oh god, we are taking the slow route. Here, notice the light? What's this? It's already lit. Precisely my point, Your Honor. The locker was already open before the victim grabbed the handle. Order. Order. What's the meaning of this? It's very simple, Your Honor. The locker wasn't locked on the day of the crime. But the locker locks are controlled by an electronic system. When a door is shut, a sensor is triggered, and the locker is automatically locked. Oh, I know. It must have broken down. Of course, I'm not an expert in this. That's not likely, Your Honor. The sensor would detect and report any malfunction. Oh, well, it just goes to show novices should keep their mouths shut. So then, Mr. Wright, you have an explanation? Me, Your Honor? Yes. Why wasn't the locker locked? Me, Your Honor? Yes. Well, you see, this isn't exactly my field. What do you think, Miss Scientific Investigator? Huh? Oh, maybe something like, jam the system sensor? It was propped? I think it was the glove that fell out when he opened the locker. Something jammed the sensor? Say, there's something else that seems out of place in this video. Yeah, I thought so too. There's got to be another clue somewhere in this footage. Very well. Let's inspect the video once more. The locker wasn't locked, Mr. Wright. Please point out the cause. Okay, so fast forward is enter. And then ready, pause. Pause. Nope. J. It was this glove, Your Honor. Please watch closely. This is the continuation of the part I showed you earlier. Oh, there's no fast forwarding this sequence. What's this? Something white fell out of the locker. But sir, it's been my experience that things fall out when doors are open. I often fall out and roll great distances. Wait, what was that? We can't be sure that the item was completely inside the locker to begin with. What do you mean? The sensor triggers the lock when the door is shut. What if something was inserted, say, between the sensor and the door? Inserted? This white thing wasn't inside the locker. It was stuck between the door and the sensor. So when was the last time a glove was this critical to a case? I can only think of one case. Oh, I understand now, sir. It's just like my tie. 2 out of 3 times it gets stuck in the door when I get out of my patrol vehicle, sir. Instead of the door closing. But the object would have to be extremely thin to fit in the door. Not only that, it would also have to block electrical current. It would need to be an insulator. Yes, an insulator. But at the crime scene, there just might have been something that fits the description. But sir, by insulating you don't mean... I think I finally got this figured out. Very well. Will the defense please present the relevant evidence? What was this insulator that stuck the locker door? Your Honor, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. I found this near the locker. A thin rubber glove. But we can't be sure that was in the victim's locker. It has a tag that says SL9 incident. Hmm? The video seems to depict the victim opening the locker. But that isn't the case. The lit lamp attests to this. Why do we keep calling this dude the victim? We don't have a body. If anything, Meekins is the victim. He got his ass rocked and stabbed. And where did the guy go on the camera footage? Does it just stop there? On the day of the crime, even I could have opened that locker. Is this not so, Officer Meekins? Sir, it would appear so, sir. Order, order, order. So are we to believe then that the victim, whom this witness stabbed in the evidence room, was not Detective Goodman? I don't think Meekins actually stabbed him. Do not be misled, Your Honor. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? The defense has merely demonstrated that possibility, and nothing more. The victim in the video was indeed Bruce Goodman. The prosecution will offer one more testimony to prove this. What? Officer Meekins, please testify about this. Sir, me, sir? I'm not sure what you're referring to, sir. Oh, you mean that, sir? Of course, sir. Is this a joke? Very well. Begin your testimony. Mystery Man 2. There's one thing that proves the man was Detective Goodman, sir. To enter the evidence room, one must use their ID card. When an ID card is used, there's a record of it. At the time of the crime, the detective had used his ID card. An ID card record. I see. I have the ID card record right here, Your Honor. I'm kind of confused by the timeline here. If he entered at the same time as Meekins, how did Meekins see him on the screen, right? And then know he was suspicious. The ID used at 5:14 is that of the victim. Just before the crime, hmm? Yes. Without a doubt, this is the victim's ID. However, one thing does strike me as unusual. Several hundred cases should have been due for transferal. Why were there so few people using this room? This particular evidence room is only used for storing certain special cases. Special cases? Extremely violent cases involving police staff. Just hearing that makes my hair stand on end. Me too, although it doesn't make much of a difference. There were only a few cases up for transferal there, and most were cleared up by noon. Right, I see. Now, let us move to the cross-examination. So, now we have the conundrum, right? It says Bruce Goodman used his ID card uh, in the evidence locker at 5:14. Okay. Why was his ID found at the prosecutor's parking lot? And if Meekins stabbed him, why did Lana also stab him, but there's only one stab wound? Either she was pulling out the knife and it looked really aggressive when she found his body in Miles's trunk, I guess, or something fucky's going on. Any theories? Use their ID card. Yep, okay. Uh-huh. Not much to go on here. Do I have anything? this the knife that stabbed Meekins? Your theory is Jello. I need a metal detector. Stat. Miles must be the murderer. He's hiding the knife in his body, Your Honor. Okay. Still trying to figure out the importance of this. So, the pieces of evidence I think here are the knife, the lost item report. I don't know what it was supposed to be for. And that's really it. I don't think it's time to bring in Jake Marshall. The video's not going to help us here. This ties to the glove, and it's also a knife, but it's not hidden in Edgeworth's body. It was hidden in his muffler, in Lana's muffler. Take a shot in the dark here. The reason we found his ID at the prosecutor's office was because he reported it lost, but still, how did it get there? The only person I can think of is Jake Marshall, since he runs the guard outpost for the evidence room. And he was also investigating the crime scene, so he could have just dropped it there to make his crime covered up. It's wild, it's out there, but let's see where it goes. Wait one moment, Officer Meekins. I'm not good with waiting, sir. Or he dropped Goodman, lost it in the garage. So you think that maybe Officer Marshall and Lana are in on it together? To kill Goodman? Okay, so hear me out, okay? Really, really out there for it, right? Marshall likes cowboys and shit, right? Clint Eastwood. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So Jake Marshall found the good man. Now we need to find the bad man. And he's already the ugly man. So he'll kill himself after he kills the bad man. Way out there, but it makes as much sense as anything at this point. I have the victim's ID card right here. I found it at the crime scene. That makes sense. When I say crime scene, I'm not referring to the evidence room at the police department. I mean the other crime scene. The underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. Your Honor, I have one more piece of evidence to present. It's a very important clue regarding the victim's ID card. Lost item report? It's only half completed. But it shows that Detective Goodman had lost something on the day of the crime. Something important enough to fill out this report. Let me guess. You believe this something to be his ID card, right? I can't say for sure. There is a high probability. On the day of the crime, Detective Goodman was not carrying his card. Order. Order. So now, what does this all mean? It can only mean one thing. It doesn't even require much thought. The man Officer Meekins encountered in the evidence room was not Detective Goodman, but rather the man who stole his ID card. Jake Marshall, right? Since he wasn't manning the post, Meekins saw him, and he used a knife. Marshall keeps brandishing a knife, but he's not scruffy looking. How'd he get Goodwin's clothes? Order. Order. Does the prosecution have a response? I have only one thing to say to the defense. Bravo, Mr. Wright. Bravo. Allow me to summarize the defense's argument. Oh, God. I see where this one's going. Officer Meekins couldn't have killed Bruce Goodman. Therefore, it must be Lana Skye who stabbed him in the parking garage. Checkmate, Your Honor. God, I can already see that. At 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime, the man in the evidence room Officer Meekins encountered was not Detective Goodman. There are two grounds to support this. First, the locker in the evidence room was already unlocked. Second, the victim lost his ID card. Am I correct so far, Mr. Wright? Yes. Let's see up. That being the case, we must inevitably arrive at a single conclusion. If the victim in this video is a fake, then the murder in this evidence room is also fake. In other words, the security camera does not show the instant of the murder. Well, I guess that's right. Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Only moments ago, you seemed content to be pointing your finger around. This isn't going to end well. Well, it seems you've finally realized exactly what you've gone to such lengths to prove. Explain yourself, Mr. Edgeworth. The defense has already done the explaining for me. The victim in this video is a fake, which means a murder did not take place at the police department on 5:15 on the day of the crime. So the real crime could only take place in one location, the underground parking lot at the prosecutor's office. The murderer being Miss Lana Skye, the defendant. The evidence is compelling. A trustworthy witness observed the moment the defendant used the murder weapon. Aha. Yep, that's where it was going. It's a real shame Meekins isn't our client. I knew that testimony was way too shabby. It was all a trap from the beginning. The activity in the evidence room still leaves many questions unanswered. Who exactly was the victim Officer Meekins encountered? And where did this person disappear to? However, this trial's purpose is to examine only the murder of Detective Goodman. Just so, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, you have to do something, or else Lana... What do I do? How am I supposed to get out of this mess? I guess now we start fingering Jake Marshall? Objection! Throw them off the scent? One moment, Your Honor. What now, Mr. Wright? Don't tell me you're objecting to what you've just proven. Of course not. But I almost rocked right into the prosecution's trap. What are you talking about? The cross-examination has proven one thing and one thing only. The security video did not show the actual murder. Oh? However, it cannot be said that it is unrelated to the murder in the parking lot. Specifically, large amounts of blood traces were found in the evidence room. The defense demands further examination into the truth of the matter. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. If this court were to examine this further, other witnesses will be necessary. Is the prosecution prepared? I'm sorry, Your Honor. The prosecution considered the incident at the police department to be unrelated. We have not prepared any other witnesses for this incident. This just might be my chance. Time to call a certain Texas Ranger to the stand. Mr. Wright, you mean... Your Honor, the defense would like to request a specific witness. Whom do you have in mind? Someone we have reason to believe knows the truth. The truth behind the activities that took place in the evidence room. The prosecution requests to hear this person's name before deciding whether or not to comply. Very well then, Mr. Wright. This person whom you would have testify, what is his or her name? Thinks he's a cowboy. Okay.
Take that!
Officer Jake Marshall. Why him? I can't let Edward know about everything just yet. He's in charge of the evidence. I feel we should hear what he has to say. The prosecution agrees to the defense's request. Since he was responsible for guarding the room, we should hear his testimony. Fortunately, he works in the police department. We shouldn't need longer than 20 minutes to prepare. Very well. The court will take a 30-minute recess while the witness is subpoenaed. Will the prosecution please prepare the witness during this time? We will, Your Honor. Court is now in recess. Seriously though, why do prosecutors dress up so fancifully? There's no stopping you, is there, Mr. Wright? Huh? What do you mean? You called for Jake Marshall. It seems you figured everything out. I haven't figured anything out. Lana, you're the one who knows everything. No. You always know everything. Why don't you just tell us? Mr. Wright is trying his hardest to protect you. I don't recall ever asking for his protection. How can you be so cold? Don't you trust us? Don't you trust me? Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. It's Gumshoe. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Please come back. You've got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run all around while he's on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happy people at funerals.
Sorry, Detective.
You better be, pal. Hey. I didn't see you there, Chief Prosecutor Sky.
That's okay. So, have you brought what I asked?
Oh. You mean this, right?
My apologies, Detective. Due to my present circumstances, I was forced to use Mr. Wright's name when making my request.
My name? Never in a million years would I have thought it was you who asked me. Could I bother you to bring me the SL9 incident files? I'll need them by noon. Talk about crazy.
The SL9 incident?
I love Gumshoe. He saved us from being murdered by the mob. He's best boy.
But Lana, that's... I thought Mr. Wright might need them, so I had them brought here. Here, you might do well to read them.
I can't believe you, the chief prosecutor, were a witness in that case.
This guy was a witness?
Files for the Joe Dark killings. Okay. Take it from me. You don't want anything to do with serial murderers. Oh, what? Now that I brought you to your stuff, you're just gonna ignore me?
Emma? But why? Why is your name in here? What? My name's in there? I don't know. Unless... No, it couldn't be. Lana, the SL9 incident, is that... That's the classification number the police filed it under. 2 years ago, the rest of the world knew it as the Joe Dark killing. The Joe Dark? No. No, Lana. That's over with. No!
Emma, wait. She ran away. You know what? I just remembered. I gotta be somewhere. Sorry, pal, but I'm out of here.
Jake Marshall, Angel Starr, Damon Gant, Miles Edgeworth, not to mention Lana and Emma. Everyone involved in this case is connected to those killings 2 years ago. This can't be just a coincidence. Knowing you just might be able to figure it out. Time to get back to the trial, Mr. Wright. Best of luck. I better take a good look at this file.
Really? To be continued? February 24th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. The court will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Scott. Emma didn't come back. Thank God. Allow me to call the next witness to the stand. The officer in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day of the crime. Okay, let's get hammered, buddy. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Me, partner? Oh, I'm just a man. Same as you. Wandering the trails of civilization. Occasionally helping the elderly cross the intersections when needed. Yes, we get it. Oh, I know. You're a patrolman. As for my name, if you listen hard enough, you can hear the howling of the wind calling it out. To be exact, it's Jake Marshall, Your Honor. Howling wind? I've never heard Edgeworth described that way before. Now, Mr. Marshall, let me ask you something. You were in charge of guarding the evidence room on the day the crime took place. Is this correct? According to the papers, partner. What do you mean? A desperado's soul is as boundless as the desert sand. No paper can sum it up. Maybe it's best we get on with this quickly. Please share with us your testimony of the day of the crime. In plain old English. And take your hat off. This is a court of law. My job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. Besides, the room's protected by 2 security systems anyway. If I remember right, I was at the street side saloon at the time it went down. I'm just an innocent traveling man. So if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. I can't say I particularly care for your attitude. I can't say I care for your beard. But you don't seem to me complaining. Wait a minute. What do you mean by 2 security systems? I mean the security cameras and the ID card reader. I reckon even a cowpoke like you knows about those. Yes, well, what about the fingerprint activated locks on the evidence lockers? Fingerprint activated locks? What kind of newfangled doohickeys are those? He's not being very helpful. He's not good with machines or with following orders. Everyone's got their weaknesses now, don't they, Mr. Prosecutor? This one seems like trouble. Okay, Mr. Wright, he's all yours. How does he not know about the lockers? He has one. We know he has one. We know he has one.
Hold it!
How exactly do you keep an eye on the evidence? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recording. You interred him? Videos of nothing aren't all that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing part of my life. This guy has a flair for dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So, in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? Okay. But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. I'm afraid I don't understand. No desperado I know lets fools get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime, just between you and me, I didn't set foot in that evidence room all day. Is it? I'm talking right into my mic, but okay. See you later, Batman. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, how's that? Okay, cool. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? We kind of already pressed that one. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlor's Vongole sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? Not all desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, "Did you not want a raise this year?" Okay, so that's got to be the statement we present something on. So if you were at the saloon, why do I have your bloody handprint? Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this? After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or, to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, I make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. I cut myself shaving. Witness, what is the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene? The blood was wiped away. However, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall, about the blood-stained fingerprints? Very well. You may begin your testimony about your fingerprints found at the scene of the crime. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same time as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The blood stains and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something. I can feel it. Now's my chance to prove it. Okay, so how do you know the killer was wearing gloves? And if they were wearing gloves, wouldn't that mess with the electronic lock? All right. Let's start pressing, I guess. That's because you, how did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently, his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without even knowing it. Okay. So... Hang on. Something's been bothering me with this fucking video. And the picture of the locker room. Was the cloth already there? No, it wasn't. Look, right there. There's no cloth. And then after Meekins gets his ass rocked, there's a cloth. So what did he move in there? And if he was wearing gloves, how did he get the fingerprint lock to actually work? So how did you know that the murderer was wearing gloves? That's been bothering me. Like, what's that cloth? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a blood stain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. Right. It was found in Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprints. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood. In the desert, it's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. But now I can. Because of that, whatever the hell that cloth is. This isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. Now then, continue your testimony, Officer Marshall. But... what? When did that get added? I mean... that's just a weird thing to say. What do you mean by that? You want me to tie to this crime, isn't that right, partner? If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless. It's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. So now I just show the evidence of the cloth, right? Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us the incriminating evidence. So we fast forward. It's not there. Still not there. Still not there. Still not there. And now it's there. And it was still there when we talked with Gumshoe. Maybe it's still there now.
Take that!
Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video, which didn't have blood on it. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a little bit. There's fucking Mika. Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What is the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then, it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order. Order. Hold your horses. Sorry, partner, but you got the wrong man. So what if my locker was open? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. The murderer needed to hide something, so he picked the locker, so he opened the locker and stuck it in. It's not my fault he happened to choose mine. Why is everyone staring at me like I'm a wanted man? He's an idiot. This guy isn't just playing dumb. He really doesn't know. I hate to rain on your parade, but you're the only person that can open that particular locker. Oh yeah? I call your bluff. You say I opened that locker, now prove it. I mean... So, just... to present the locker? I guess? Behold, there's how you couldn't open it. The locker. A fingerprint sensor? We talked about this earlier today. The lockers can only be opened by detectives they belong to. What kind of crazy talk is this? Well, Detective Gumshoe did mention something about this. In any case, the locks aren't that obvious. There are even some people in the force that don't know about the fingerprint locks. So, Sheriff, what do you have to say in 8 words or less? Gotta chew on my jerky. I only got 1 word for you, partner. No! Really? Order. Witness. Explain yourself. If this is a joke, it's the worst I've ever heard. I assure you this is no joke, Officer Marshall. Now then, please tell us what you were doing in the evidence room at the time of the crime. Oh, that's a great reaction sprite, though. Just getting shot in the heart. That was a good one. But he still likes to chew his jerky now. That's some tough jerky. Olay, please answer the question. What is he now, a bullfighter? That's all right, Officer Marshall. I believe we can figure the rest out from here. We can. Have a look at these floor plans. There is no place for someone to hide in the evidence room. Yet, Officer Meekins didn't see Officer Marshall. If that's so, then, where was the witness? It seems Mr. Wright has an answer. That's right. The only possible conclusion. Well then, let's hear it. Where was Officer Marshall at the time of the crime? At the time of the crime? Like, he would have been here. He's the victim, quote unquote. Officer Marshall was standing right here. There, but that's where the victim, Detective Goodman, was. Correct. Unless the man wasn't Detective Goodman. I believe the victim in the video is Officer Marshall. It was you, dressed up like Detective Goodman. But that's preposterous. Officer Meekins witnessed the detective at the crime scene. Once he saw the man's face, he knew for sure. May I point out, though, that Officer Meekins did not know Detective Goodman? He also testified about the man's reaction when confronted. When I entered the evidence room, I asked him to show his card, sir. Yes, and how did Detective Goodman respond? He suddenly pulled a knife on me. Something about the officer's story puzzled me. If the man had his ID card, why didn't he just show it? Yes, he would have needed it to enter the evidence room, so he must have been carrying it. The answer is simple. He couldn't show it. As you can see, Detective Goodman's picture is on his card. Oh, I get it. If he showed that, his cover would have been blown. Officer Meekins would have realized the man wasn't Detective Goodman. You have anything to say about this, Officer Marshall? Just gonna keep chewing my jerky. You've got quite an imagination, partner. We got a term for that. It's called circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence? He's still denying it? You're gonna have to do better than that to break a detective. Unless you have hard evidence proving I dressed up as the victim. I can't say I particularly care for your uncooperative disposition. I can't say I care for your beard, because you don't see me complaining. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any evidence proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that Officer Marshall dressed up as the victim? Well, who am I kidding? I don't have anything like that. I can see the fear in your eyes, partner. Seems like you're the one who couldn't take the desert heat. This can't be happening. It's so obvious he's the one. What can I do? It looks like your lack of experience has finally been exposed. I'll pass on to you what someone once told me when I was just starting out. When you've run into a wall with no place to go, return to the basics. The basics? For me, that would be what Mia used to tell me. Phoenix, try thinking outside of the box. I shouldn't look for proof that Officer Marshall was in disguise. But rather, I should look for evidence that came about because he was in disguise. Why do you think this locker was opened in the first place? What do you mean? There's no reason for Officer Marshall to open his locker at the time of the crime. Yet he did, despite the chance it might be discovered later as it has been, which means he didn't originally plan to open his locker. According to the defense's argument, Officer Jake Marshall dressed up as Detective Goodman at the time of the crime. Then, after the crime was committed, he opened his own locker for some unknown reason. The fact that a white cloth is sticking out of the locker seems to indicate that he opened it in order to put the cloth inside. So, just what exactly is this piece of cloth? Perhaps the video is the key to all of our unanswered questions. I don't have any evidence, so this video is my only shot. How many times are we gonna go back to this video? Very well. Let's take yet another look at this security tape. After committing the crime, the witness opened the locker to put away the white cloth. Please show us why the witness had to open his locker. Okay, so let's fast forward. What do we got? There he goes. Okay. There's Meekins. Okay. Wait, what was that? Rewind. He's all bloody. Also, Meekins' face. Oh, I could do frame by frame. That's fantastic. Okay, so let's see. Meekins walks up. I don't like his posture. I mean, I guess I can understand that. This is a pretty large step up for the game so far of actual animation and 3D modeling. Wait, so he just immediately pulled out the knife. Excuse me, sir. Who are you? Take this knife. Looks like he got him in the face. Okay, so the brim of the patrol cap clips through his hand. And also his nightstick just disappears. Interesting enough. Then Meekins gets his berserker rage on and just starts strangling the man. But he's a lightweight, so he gets his shit rocked. What's up with the hand there? Jesus. Like, he is lifted off the ground. Cowers. Look at that face of determination. Puts his hands up. He just goes in for the kill. He's got his hands up. Just right in for the kill. How did Meekins not die? But yeah, well, he's got blood stains on him. For some reason, you disguised yourself as Detective Goodman and entered the evidence room, though I don't know to what end. Yet. However, something unexpected happened. Officer Meekins barged in on you. When asked to show your ID card, you pulled a knife on him. However, Officer Meekins panicked and then gave up, and the white coat you were wearing was soiled with blood. A bloody white coat. You couldn't just walk out like that, so you hid the coat in your locker. Not bad, partner. Now then, Officer Marshall, are you ready to tell us the truth? Looks like I underestimated y'all. I hope you're happy now, Mr. Edgeworth. 2 years ago, if you were only half as persistent then as you are today, we all wouldn't have to be here now. Now would we? Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. It seems the time has come. No way this is the end of the case, right? I had to do it that day. I just couldn't stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out and managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught on the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be? Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation. Okay, so why'd you have to do it that day, though? And what did you do exactly? When you say it, you mean, do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident. 2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day. Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only that case's lead detective can look through the evidence. I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it? That day was my last chance. That's why How? This is so weird. Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere. So you did it to fool the security camera? And the detective's ID card? I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filing out that lost item report. I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall. So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your own lack of foresight. What do you mean, partner? I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself. But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door. That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall. Oop. We're gonna go back. Yeah, we saw you really rocked his shit. Good punch. You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only ever planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time. Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. When did Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way, with me knocking him out and everything. By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? I don't know what to say. How'd you get that into court? So you knocked Officer Meekins out and... Okay. So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left. However, you bloodied your coat in the struggle with Officer Meekins. If someone was in the security room when I came out, the jig would have been up. I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing at that time? What else? He was sleeping like a baby. So what you're saying is, on that day... Okay. But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me. And I'm not dead yet, partner. So, you stole the evidence from the locker? Actually, no, I didn't. Why not? When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor. Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence? But left the glove? Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective ID? Injuring a police officer? This is no small offense. Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary. Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer that I'm satisfied with. The witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more. I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why? No, I don't. But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it? That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joe Dark was convicted for his crimes. One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joe Dark case. It involved serial murders, didn't it? I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will ever talk about. What happened? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think is his real reason is? Or his real reason is? I mean, I had a feeling we'd wind up here sooner or later. Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. I better take another look at the files. Okay, so, I mean, I haven't looked at those files I got. Okay, perpetrator Joe Dark, crime serial murderer, sentence death. Victims: Edward Jones, Jason Knight, Edith Kirby, Rachel Moss, Jeb Bates, Neil Marshall. Okay. Head prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, witness Lana and Emma Sky. Investigation Task Force, Damon Gant, Lana Sky, head investigator Bruce Goodman, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. So, I guess I do know why you couldn't let it die, I think. Oh, nope, I pressed it too many times. Yeah, someone in your family got murdered by the guy? Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. In a list of murder victims. Ew. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man? Neil Marshall. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard the name. 2 years ago, he received the same lousy prosecutor award you got. What? A prosecutor? He must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did. That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands. But what's his relation to you? He was my brother. Okay, I could see it. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, the then deputy chief of the police. The group of detectives I was part of worked under them. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Oh, wow. He does look pretty intense. Joe Dark. My brother fought Dark and was killed. That was the first time Dark left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records. What do you mean? My brother couldn't have been killed by Joe Dark. I knew my brother better than anyone. No one could have beaten him in a fight. And that's it? That's your reason for your insane actions? There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it, you can't fool me. Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could have been reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence. Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled. Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day. Then, the things that happen by chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as the murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. Chance? It's got to be more than just that. So if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office parking lot was the real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye. But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial. Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today. But there's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department. It seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner. All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable. If you have any response, make it a single word or less. Arg! I rest my case. It seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty. Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant Your Honor, wait. Emma? The defense has an objection. A scientific objection. Right? What do you mean, right? Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian? Your Honor? Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please. I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3. Is that a reference to Von Karma? I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joe Dark killings. Now that she mentions it, the names of both Sky Sisters were in that file. But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint. You mean the traces of blood found on the Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right? No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So I ran over there and looked at it again. So did you find something? No. Huh? Sorry, I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all. Um, is that all? Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student. And I'm just an attorney. But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you. Me? Oh boy. Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright. With regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this? Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be... Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day. Yes, Your Honor. If ever I've needed to concentrate, it's now. Okay, so what could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be some